Well, welcome. To those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Justin Briner. I'm a guest here at WasabiCon this year. Most of my work has to do with anime or video games. I'm based out of Dallas, Texas. So you may know me from a fair amount of Funimation properties, such as Seraph at the End, I was Mikaela. Space Patrol Luluco, I played Alpha Omega Nova. I was just in Darling in the Franxx as 9 Alpha. And there's a little show called My Hero Academia. And I played Deku in that. So I believe it's just another Q&A sort of deal.
Yeah.
Cool.
So throw your hands up, folks.
I will pay all your cues.
There we go. Perfect. I'll start here. Right away. Open this area first.
Hey, you said you were involved in video games. Have you ever heard of it's just a little series known as Kingdom Hearts?
Sure, I've heard of it, I think.
Cool, I came there for free. That comes out in 5 years.
That was your question. Literally, have you heard of that game? Good.
Oh, that was the question? Yeah, it does ring a bell. No, I can't wait. That's going to be sick.
Hi, as someone who just started watching My Hero Academia, what is your favorite episode of the series?
My favorite episode. Okay. How far into it are you, may I ask?
Season 1.
Okay. There is in the second season, there's a tournament arc, basically. It's the students are facing against each other to become the winner of the class. And Midoriya and Todoroki face off.
Yeah.
And I love that episode just because of what it means thematically to the show. Not only is it gorgeously animated, but the whole theme of that, even if you inherit a power, that power is still yours, and what you make of it will define who you are as a hero. Because Todoroki obviously comes from, well, you'll find out. I don't want to expound too much, but I love the fight episodes a ton, and that definitely stands out as exceptional. Because I can't watch it anymore without crying.
If you voice any other character in the series, who would be why?
Froggy. Dude, all the way.
I'm sure Monica would like to hear that.
If you could be in any play or musical, what would it be?
Oh wow, I would love to perform Little Shop of Horrors. I think I'd fit sequel. What kind of nerds? Gosh, what other plays? I've been reading a lot of plays recently. I'd love to perform some Tennessee Williams. I just read a really stunning biography about him that was just yeah, I love that, and let's go with that. Yeah, yeah.
I'm confused again, but he's right here, so good to him.
Hi.
My question would be, where do you get the emotion in your voice when you're doing certain scenes? Because you have a huge impact on all of our emotions when you do these scenes.
I think just one of the truths that we gotta acknowledge as performers and creatives of any capacity is that the emotions are inside you. You exist and you are human and you feel those human emotions. So what my process is sort of tapping into that, finding honest reasons to get to those emotions. Because it's sort of like a nebulous thing, right? If I say I'm angry, there are 5, 10 different definitions based on who I'm talking to of what anger is. It's just I try to make it fit to the video most of all. I don't want there to be any dissonance from watching the video and hearing my voice from it. So I just try to link it up as best as I can. Thank you so much. It's very kind.
Can you do your best Froggy impression?
Oh my god.
What was your favorite line?
I mean, if you don't.
Ever? One I always go to is, holy whoa, I just talked to a
Do you ship Kirishima and Bakugo?
ship it all.
Can you do your best smash? Florida smash?
Oh, yeah. Sure, we'll do a Florida smash. Want to join me? All right, 3, 2, 1. Florida
Hey,
Hi.
yeah, so at the end of the debate, what is your favorite OP and ED from My Hero Academia?
Okay. I mean, of course, I love them all. They're all very darling to me. But I think that the day is always going to be what represents my hero in my mind. You know, that was the opening when I first knew about it, when I first learned about it, when I was first performing it. So that's always going to be what evokes the most memories. As for the endings, I just love the fantasy AU ending. I think it's just gorgeous, and you know, it's not often that you see a little ending at the end of an anime and you're like, hey, no, I want more of that. Wait, go back.
I have a question. What's your favorite meme? I just want to ask. 'Cause
My
I feel
favorite meme?
Yes, please.
Meme. It's gonna show my age, but I love Pacha Face. It's a wholesome meme, and it makes you feel like everything's gonna be a-okay. Yeah, totally.
Hi. Hello. So, you've been here like since yesterday. It's your second day here. I just want to know, how are you feeling? Like, what was your favorite memory from this experience? How are you?
Oh. Hi. Let's dig in, shall we? No, I'm doing great. I've had a really, really wonderful time here. Everyone's been very kind and considerate of my time and my energy, and that's really all I can ask for at the end of the day. So, you know, part of that is that my favorite part has been really meeting all of you and getting to interact and speak and hear about, you know, what you've enjoyed and how much fun you've been having. So that's what's really rewarding for me. If I can be a part of that, then I feel like I've done a good job. So yeah, I'm doing great. I'm feeling awesome.
Hi there.
Hi.
How long do you think Deku would survive in the zombie apocalypse?
Hey, I mean, provided he doesn't go ahead and, you know, break his arm in the first 5 minutes. He's got a very good head on his shoulders. He's very studious. He's very quick at making snap assessments and judgments about what he's up against. So I feel like he'd do better than probably at least above average.
I just wanted to ask, that one episode where you guys dress up like villains for that one line for Deku.
Yeah.
How many outtakes did that take until you got it perfectly without laughing?
I mean, of course it was hilarious. I wasn't really laughing while I was recording. I kind of got my jiggles out while we previewed it. But it took us a while to land on exactly like what we wanted him to say. I think the line went through a couple iterations before it ended up where we landed. So, you know, maybe five takes or so. Got it just so.
Hi. Okay. I wanted to know, like, if any way possible, like, in what way do you relate to Midoriya the most?
Oh, sure. I relate to Midoriya in many ways. I think a lot of people do as well, because I think it's sort of a testament to the popularity of the show that they are all able to rally behind this, you know, kid, this little high school kid. So yeah, I relate on just sort of like, you know, in high school, you're struggling to find your identity, you're struggling to figure out who you are and what your place in life is. And that's all sort of amped up because Midoriya lives in this superhuman society where everyone around him is exactly who he wants to be, and yet they say, you can't do it. And I think we all struggle with problems like that growing up, you know, trying to bolster your self-worth and trying to make goals that seem lofty to other people, that they say you can't do it, that you have to shoot lower. And he just has this motivation that no matter how bad he feels or no matter how low he feels, he's going to keep moving upward. And I think that's really beautiful. So I relate to that and, you know, everything else.
Hi. What was your reaction when you found out you got the part of Deku?
Oh, I was stunned. I auditioned for just about everyone I could in Class 1A because I really just wanted to be in the show. And then I didn't hear anything for a little bit, and I figured, you know, if you don't hear anything, that's generally the cue that you know that you didn't book it. And you know, that's fine, you just move on. But, you know, a week or so passed, I didn't hear anything, and then they called me in for the first episode, and it was crazy. You know, I'd never worked with that director before. I just auditioned for her. She didn't know me from John for the, you know, as soon as she met me. So I was very nervous trying to establish our first like working relationship with each other. But it ended up really great, and I'm very proud of the work that I did.
I just want to know if you are already confirmed to be the voice actor for season 4.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, now that you say it, I guess there is no guarantee. Yes, I will do it if they call me. Please, please. No, I have all plans to remain on.
Do you think Deku has sworn off saying cuss words?
I'm sorry?
Do you think Deku has sworn off saying cuss words?
I'm just trying to envision the pain that you feel when your arm is shattered, right? Do you think you let one slip while we were listening? It's probably just a quick one, right? No. But, yeah. He's secretive.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Me and my daughter was just wondering if you were going to dress up for Halloween, what were you going to be?
Oh, I really want to. I haven't had an idea yet. What I wanted to do, but I don't think I'll have enough time yet, or time before doing it. Unfortunately, I have a lot of travel before then, is I wanted to be the Grand Master from Thor Ragnarok. I wanted to be Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, nice.
Right? I just don't think I'll have enough time to assemble it.
You should be that Deku guy, because you kind of sound like him.
You don't want to see this dressed up as Deku.
Hi. So, if you could have any quirk from the show, which one would you choose?
I really covet Yagirozu's quirk. I think it's just stupid powerful. You know, there are some quirks that you identify as being way too strong, and that's one of them. So I'll take it. Let me have it.
Now the front row had questions, so we get you and we start working over on this. You forgot the question.
I was gonna ask, I know you've only been in Jackson for a little bit of time, but have you gotten to do anything interesting or fun besides yourself?
Yeah, totally. I had a little downtime the other day, where we went to, it's called the Bearded Pig. It's a little barbecue joint around here. So I tried some of your local barbecue, I tried some of your local beer, and it gave me sort of a feeling of Jacksonville. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to.
Okay, as someone who has experienced a lot of hate from shipping other ships, how do you feel about all the ship hate, negativity surrounding other ships?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
I've experienced a lot of hate from shipping a certain ship. How do you feel about the ship wars, all the ship hate, all the negativity from going around?
Okay, I can't confirm or deny any ships. That's not really my role as an actor. What my role is to facilitate y'all's enjoyment so that you can ship and have the characters do what you like. That being said, I also don't really condone ship wars. It just seems like a waste of energy, because why are you punching down at someone that you don't agree with? Why not just say, oh, you have a different understanding of these characters than I do. And that sort of enriches my understanding. That's how I always feel. I love hearing what people's ships are, because that makes me like question what I know about the characters or how their relationships might work outside of what I thought about. So I think it's really fascinating. So I don't think y'all should attack each other over your tastes. We all like the same show.
Hello.
Hi.
Is doing the simul-dub with Funimation like taxing on your voice and junk?
It definitely presents its own challenges, right? Because it's week to week. Sometimes you don't have these long marathon recording sessions that you might hear about. I usually only go in for like 2 hours a week. But, that being said, there's also constraints that it brings. Like, I can't really go away from Dallas for more than a week at a time. I sort of plan around being there every week, even if I don't know if I'm going to pop up in an episode. So, yeah, it just presents its own different sort of, challenges. But I really enjoy it. Simuldubbing was really starting up once I got to Funimation, so that's sort of all I know. The straight-to-video dubs are the exception to me, not the norm as they used to be.
What's your feelings on the character of Bakugo and how he's portrayed?
What are my opinions on Bakugo? Yes, sir. I think he's a perfectly hateable character. It's not the conceit of Bakugo that he needs to learn a lesson, right? It's more than anger issues. He's got a superiority complex. He does. It's pretty well established in the first 2 episodes when they tell him, all right now, okay. All right. I think that Bakugo is a complicated character. I think that he has many facets, some of them very dark, some of them very engaging. He's very proficient, he's very adept, he's got the same sort of mental fortitude as Deku in understanding the situation quickly and how to adapt to that. He's got a great natural hero's instinct, which is why it's so frustrating to see him be the way he is. So no, I think that he's great. Don't take my saying that he's meant to be disliked as a way that's saying he's a bad character. He's a very good character. I love what he brings to the dynamic of the show. Sorry.
I love how the audience asks you your opinion, then when you give it, you're the juror.
That's not right. Sorry, I just say the words.
So if you were transported to My Hero Academia world, what would be the first thing you would do?
Hope that I had a quirk. I don't know. I guess I'd sort of find a place that's safe. You gotta take in because their society is just so radically different than ours based on how that they all act. I don't know. I think it'd be very interesting, and I would want to not be villainized as soon as I got there.
Hi, Spider here, huge fan. I was just wondering, if there is one, what is the most awkward episode you've recorded by far? I'm just interested to hear that.
Awkward? I don't really know that I've ever felt awkward recording something. Definitely not in My Hero. I can't think of a time I've been skeeved by the material or anything. I don't know. Sometimes there are times where anime gets a little too gruesome for me, and I had to record. I think it was called King's Game, and the character I played had his leg chainsawed off, and it was explicit and gruesome, and they didn't warn me it was going to happen. And so that was oh God, can I just please get out of here?
You had not seen the footage. You just go in there oh, something's gonna happen to you. You're reading along, and then, oh God!
It's like a murder game, so I assumed at some point I'd probably hack it. But no, I made it very far into the game, and then it got a little horrible. No, they didn't warn me it was coming, and I didn't watch ahead, so maybe that's something.
So the new My Hero game is coming out in English later on this week, and I was just wondering, I assume you did Deku's voice for it, but if you did, just wanted to ask if how different it was recording for that and all the little incidentals you did.
What was the project?
The new My Hero game coming out?
Unfortunately, the game will not come out dubbed.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
All right. So
there may be a hope for a patch down the road if y'all let Bandai know that you really like us, but as for now, we haven't recorded anything. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I got you.
Sorry, yeah, I didn't mean that. Oh, no.
You mentioned yesterday in the other Q&A panel about like your thoughts on like Deku and how other characters in the show treat him, and like how they expect a lot of him, and how you felt that he's like a good disability analog and mental illness analog. I was wondering if these are experiences that you've had to deal with going through your own life, and how you've personally coped with them, if so.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's not going to be an exact one-to-one correlation with Deku. I've never felt maybe a time in my life where someone I really looked up to said I couldn't do something that I wanted to do. But I think, just as a creative growing up, there's sort of a feeling that if it's not perfect the first time, why even bother? If I don't want to fail in front of people that I respect and have them know that I failed. So it's a little different for me, but there's still the same struggles of like confidence in presenting your work in front of your friends, and trying to tell your family that this is your dream and that's what you want to shoot for, and that they should support you instead of saying that you should do something more realistic. But yeah, so on a base level, definitely. I think we both share sort of like nervous energy. So yeah, I think especially as far as just growing up as a vulnerable kid trying to express himself, I definitely relate, yeah. Thank you, yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering, how was it like meeting the Japanese voice actor for Deku?
It's amazing. Of course I was extremely nervous. Because, this guy doesn't know me from Sam, and I listen to his voice every line of every episode of every show. So yeah, I really, it was amazing. He was very humble, very kind. He brought a device called a pocket talker that we could speak into, and it would translate both ways. So we were actually able to hold a conversation for the better part of the day that we spent together, which was really fascinating. I got to kind of pick his brain about what his process is like, what he does in Japan, how he grew up as an actor. We talked about food a lot.
Over here. Oh, good. Here we go.
Questions? All three of you? Great, perfect. I'm right here. Let's do it. Choose, fight, go.
Hi. Hi. Is there any specific character development you would like to see pop up in Deku House?
For Deku specifically?
Yeah.
I want to say I said something to the effect of this yesterday, but I want to see him encounter Bakugo and plant his feet and not meet him halfway. I want him to, be able to speak with Bakugo as an equal and not feel like he's got something to prove, but rather he's already proven who he is. I don't know. Maybe it's coming down the road, but whenever he speaks with Bakugo, as of now, it's always been trying to placate, trying to appease, trying not to enrage the beast. So yeah, I just want to see him stand up for himself a little more.
In your opinion, who's best boy?
Best boy? Almost. Honorable mention to Aoyama, who is the best boy.
How old were you when you started to first voice act?
I sort of started, I guess professionally I was about 23. I'd sort of done some freelance work on a couple indie video games before then, so maybe 21, 22 is when I really got started. So about, 5-6 years ago.
Do you collect your own swag, like characters that you've done? Like, oh sweet, that's me.
Not all the time, but I try to do little I like little keychain charms and stuff. I've gotten all the Deku figures and Nendos that have come out. But other than that, I don't collect as much as I probably should.
Who is your favorite pro hero minus All Might?
I like. Oh right. Let's go with Aizawa. I think he's awesome.
I was wondering what your favorite arc was.
My
Hero? I really love the Stain arc. It's interesting. I like a bunch of them in different ways, right? Like they'll often go back and forth from like character building to world building to character building and back. And I think whereas the tournament arc was really huge and crazy in scope, it was world building, and this Stain arc was character building. We'd never seen Tenya in so dire circumstances. Like, so much of his character is tested in that arc, and I think that's super cool. Like, I want to see more of that and the students reacting to this crazy society they live in.
Hi, Justin.
Hi.
So remember the Red Lobster and Endless Shrimp? Can you reenact that?
Huh?
Can you reenact that for the people who don't know what I'm talking about?
What do you want me to say?
The Red Lobster and Endless Shrimp thing that you did a long time ago.
Are you filming this?
No?
No, we're not.
We're not. We're not.
Lobster Fest is back, baby.
Ready? Yeah, give it to you. Yep.
Okay, I hope I didn't forget my question.
It's okay.
Okay, if you could give any advice to your Deku, what would it be?
To Deku? I would say, stop being so hard on yourself. You are exactly who you need to be in any moment of your life. So, keep trying to better yourself, of course, keep making positive strides, but also recognize that in the moment, in the day-to-day, you are enough, just as you are.
That's good advice for all of us.
Could you do your best impression of Todoroki?
I'm super cool and cute. And tortured.
Alright, so we all know that Bakugan has many issues. What I want to know is, if you were his parent, how would you correct those issues?
I think it just comes down to teaching respect, right? Just from what we understand of their household, there's not a lot of respect. They don't treat each other kindly. They treat each other as, as a family would, but with some dysfunction. So as parents, and bear in mind, I have no parental experience. I have no guidance. But I would say, you need to learn to respect the people around you and to understand what makes them special and unique, and spend less time thinking about why you're better than them and in what ways, and think about what you have in common and how that can bolster you. But I don't know.
Do you think Aizawa could erase Hagakira's quirk?
No, I think it's confirmed in one of the manga endings, I guess, that Aizawa's quirk only affects abilities. It doesn't affect quirks that are constant transformations. So if it truly is the fact that her quirk is constant invisibility, then it wouldn't do anything, I don't believe. Based on what I know.
Have you heard about the traitor theory of UA, and who do you think is the traitor?
There's a traitor? There can't be a traitor in our midst! Yeah, I've heard about it. I think it's been mentioned.
Yeah, who do you think it is?
I don't think it's a student. Who do you think it is? I don't think it's a principal either. I think it's a faculty member that maybe we haven't seen very much of or we haven't met yet. Leave those kids alone.
So, how many bees do you think you can hold in one hand?
How many what?
Bees.
Bees?
Yeah.
No.
I've heard a lot of questions. That was a question. I'm coming around to the center. I'm gonna get these guys.
I just need a minute to process that. Okay. Hi. I'm a very shy friend. Would like to know which
quirk do you think has the most disadvantages?
Okay. This is pretty rough. I think, whose is it? Aoyama's is not great. I wouldn't, and by that extension, Uraraka. You know, I wouldn't want to feel nauseous after using my ability. That would be, I think, a rough hurdle to overcome. Maybe Hagakure has the most disadvantage. You can't see her.
Hi, I just wanted to know if you could provide the voice for any villain, which one, like, who would you choose?
Maybe like twice? Maybe, yeah, I would want to be one of the League of Villains.
Does Bakugo play Bakugan?
What kind of game is that? I know it, but what kind of, like, what style of play is it? Card game?
You roll a ball onto a metal card, and the ball unfolds. It's really bad.
It's bad?
It's like Beyblades.
No.
Actually, it's great though.
Voice actor is like SAG-AFTRA. It's actually the voice actor in this industry.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I've had a voice actor that means like SAG-AFTRA affected the industry from when you started to right now.
I seriously can't. Sing out, Louise, please.
SAG-AFTRA and all the union stuff, how's that affected the industry and your view of it and your working in it?
So it doesn't personally affect me very much. I live in Texas, which is called a right-to-work state, which means they can't force us to be in a union or not to accept work. Which, you know, it's wonderful, but that also means that we don't get some of the union benefits that are afforded to actors in the union. You know, we're sort of on our own more as freelancers, which has its own advantages and disadvantages. I would say the union is important if you want to get into certain lines of work or in certain areas, like California especially, or if you want to get into film or stage, then it becomes very important. But as it is now, I think SAG-AFTRA is still trying to understand this part of the industry, and it hasn't quite caught up to the current day yet. So I'm interested to see how it goes, and I'm always keeping my eyes on it, but as for me personally, it's not the correct choice at the moment.
Who was your favorite A1 student?
Oh, they're all so precious to me.
Good answer.
Froppy.
Froppy.
The best.
What do you think about Valeto?
And this is difficult, right? Like, I feel like there's such a dissonance between our understanding as an English audience of a character like Mineta and the Japanese audience's understanding as Mineta as a character. I was kind of shocked when I heard we were doing an interview with Yamashita-san, the voice of Deku, who said he was really impressed with Mineta in the movie. He said that he loved seeing him, his own special brand of heroism. And that really got me thinking, like, not every student hero is going to be perfect, of course. And how do you reconcile the fact that also Horikoshi-sensei, pardon me, loves Mineta. He really likes him. So quoth he. But I think that it's just, as far as, we're supposed to understand that we hate Mineta, but I don't think that he gets the comeuppance that we crave for him as a character. I think he kind of gets away with a little too much, and that's why we think he's all sort of a creepo. So yeah, I mean, of course, I had my own misgivings with the writing, but it's also sort of a cultural dissonance, and I got to understand that and sort of reconcile myself to that as well. He's complicated, right? It's not easy to parse such a difficult character, but if you find him offensive, then I think that's perfectly valid, and I don't think they're doing you many favors in his current characterization. Fair? Does anyone like Mineta? I don't even like to hate him.
The garbage
Okay.
boy.
All right.
I've wanted to know the answer to this question ever since I started the show. Does Froppy lay eggs?
What? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Does Froppy lay eggs?
Does Froppy lay eggs?
Why do we? I think I should get it.
Well, so her younger relatives are fairly like tadpole-esque when we see them for a brief moment. I hope not. But maybe she is wrong.
Hi.
Hi.
So my question is, what is your favorite swear word, and can you say it in Deku's voice?
Family show. Family show.
Tarnation!
Alright, I got a better question. So, in the past, the show Naruto existed, and given how this My Hero Academia is, have you ever been hearing comparisons between that and this? And if so, what would you think is your favorite similarity?
Have I compared the similarities between the two properties?
Yes.
Sure. I mean, on the very most basic level, they're both shonen properties. They're both adventure stories. They're both action-oriented. But while I thought how do I put this? I think My Hero does a better and more complete job of developing its characters. I think that the more that we learn about the characters, the more we find about how well-rounded they are. Whereas in Naruto, based on my very limited experience, mind you, the more we found out about them, the more kind of shallow they became. Like once you dug into Sasuke more and more, you weren't finding very much. But also, I'm not an expert. I think that, they share many successes. I think there are some great fight scenes shared between the two of them. And, it's hard to say whether or not My Hero could be as popular if it hadn't had the way paved for it by properties like Naruto and One Piece, etc. So yeah, I think, at least on a spiritual level, they have a fair bit in common.
Thank you for signing my book, by the way.
You got it.
Hi. I just want to know, what is your favorite moment in the My Hero movie, or your favorite moment to have filmed during it?
Okay, my favorite moment is definitely a spoiler. So when you see it, you're gonna be like, because I assume not everyone's seen the movie, correct? Yes. So let's say I liked getting to meet Melissa. I think that it was really cool that we got sort of this, isn't sort of the frustration normally that these movies don't have anything to do with the story at large. This time, it didn't really progress the plot in any meaningful ways, but it did expand the world a little bit. There's this whole new Super Science Island that we found out about, and I think Melissa was a really, really cool character to introduce because she is this kindred spirit with Deku. They both grew up quirkless, but he's unable to relate to her or tell her so. He's unable to say, hey, I know what you're feeling and here's why, because it would compromise too much. So it's just sort of a cool, new, difficult friendship, and I hope they bring that character back for a little more.
So your show has really helped me become a better role model. So my question would be, who was your role model growing up?
My grandparents were very influential to me as far as sharing the value of kindness and patience and respect. My father was very inspiring in his creative pursuits. I learned a lot from just watching him and his confidence and sort of bravado. And then I guess, I have my little acting heroes. People who, when I was growing up, sounded kind of like me, but had really extensive, cool vocal ranges, and I always really coveted that. People like Tom Kenny, Rob Paulson. I really respect their bodies of work, so I would say they rank up pretty high in inspirations.
Okay, over here. Right here, would you pass that one down?
Okay, for anyone that hasn't seen season 3, you might want to come here.
Wait, no spoilers! Wait!
I don't know how to ask this question.
Think about it. I'll come back around. Get a new question. And then yeah, pass it to your right.
I was wondering if you knew if Lita's voice actor is really married. Lita.
Yes.
They're
He
married?
just got engaged.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Can you tell them? Can you say congrats?
I sure will.
Thank you.
Yeah. I will let them know. And much love from Jacksonville.
Okay, that was a good one. Not spoiler. Yeah. Okay, good. All right.
Alright, so my question has to do with a whole different anime, so there's no spoilers. If you had to do a voice on SAO, who would you voice?
As a Sword Art Online?
Yes.
I really am not very well versed in it. I guess I'd want to be. I don't know. Are there any characters who I like to play mages in MMOs and in similar video games? Who does the magic in that anime? Ah, all right. I'll be everybody.
I have a question.
Okay.
So, do you think Aizawa would be able to erase all for one's quirk?
No, I don't. Well, no, I don't think so. Because maybe, first of all, so All for One isn't a quirk that manifests itself. It's a quirk that takes and takes and takes. So I think that maybe you could stop one of the many, but I don't think you could shut it down completely, or else why haven't they done it already?
While working on My Hero Academia, while you were doing Deku, when he was trying to get accepted into UA, that part, where did you get all teary-eyed when he was all like, he felt like he didn't get accepted because, like all us fans, we're trying to get into something and trying to get, accepted into some place, like getting to college, getting to that place, that kind of thing. Did you ever at all felt a little emotional?
I mean, of course I felt emotional in the moment of performing it, but it wasn't like I wasn't blindsided by the development. I'd already read a fair bit of the manga, so I knew what was ahead. But that being said, it only meant to further enhance my understanding of the moment, seeing how it developed and where he went afterwards. So I just wanted to, again, it kind of all circles back to I want to play each character beat of Deku or any character I perform as honestly and as truthfully human as I can.
Hi. Who do you think would win, One Punch Man or All Might?
No, All Might.
Alright, so how did you discover the many voices that you can do as a voice actor?
That's kind of you to say. I really don't feel like I have many voices.
I feel the same way.
I mean, there's a lot. I draw inspiration from cartoons and video games that I watch. I like to steal and try to imitate other people's voices that resonate with me. And I watch a fair bit and consume a lot of that media, so that goes a long way. I listen to my fellow actors' work, and I try to determine what choices they're making that really resonate with me, what choices they make that maybe I would have made differently, and why. And it's just sort of, how else to put it? Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
It's Sunday, it's all right, that happens.
Oh no.
A bit of a weird question, but do you think if Aizawa looked at himself in the mirror, he would be able to erase his own quirk for a moment?
Whoa, dude. Whoa, man. No, wait. So, does I saw his I-beams work as a photon or a wave? That's what we first had to determine. We're gonna have to do some science on this. Let's break out the books.
If you could play in any anime, what anime would you want to play in?
I would always love to play someone in One Piece. I just like those sort of like over-the-top cartoony worlds. That's sort of all I can think of. I'd love to be in Sergeant Frog one day if they ever go.
Do you think Deku with full gauntlet could beat All for One?
No. Yeah, that guy's scary.
If Deku wasn't quirkless, which quirk would he have?
So what did we learn? His mother can like levitate, and his father spits hard fire out on the stage. Yeah, he spits hard verses and spits fires. So I think, well, maybe he could it'd be like a pyrokinetic sort of deal. You can move the fire from one place to another.
Right there. Can you get through the mask? Oh, difficult questions. Okay, here we go.
Old Man Jenkins!
Would Eraserhead be able to cancel out all for One's quirks in a fight?
Can you say that one more time, please?
Would Eraserhead be able to cancel out all for One's quirks in a fight?
I don't think so. I feel like he uses multiple quirks at the same time. So even if you're able to cancel out one, I don't know if you can cancel them all out.
We are about a 10-minute warning, folks. If you haven't asked a question yet, if you haven't asked one, yeah, I know, it goes fast.
It's fun, y'all.
Crazy. So here we go.
Fresh questions.
Hi.
Hello.
So I really love the character of Kyla in Jennifer Man. Was there any moment in that Wasabi that really stood out to you? Because I know there was a lot like that stood out to me emotionally, visually. Was there any one part of that that was really popped?
Certainly. There's a couple moments that I thought really resonated with me. There's one at the end of the first season where the action is all sort of dissipated and Mikhail is with the rest of the vampires and he's about to go meet up with Cruel and one of his compatriots says something snide. He's like, well, aren't you super cool? Who do you think you are? And he says something to the effect of, who am I? I'm just an ugly vampire. And I thought that was really tragic because first of all, you're beautiful. Second of all, like he really just hates himself. He's so self-loathing. There's another one. I think I was really touched by you and Mika's reunion. Getting to see them meet up again, and of course the episode where they are together and they drink the blood. That's probably my very favorite moment of all. Just because, there's such a palpable connection, a palpable love and affection between these two people who have thought they lost each other forever. So I just thought that was super beautiful.
Can you do your best child Deku impression?
What does he say? He's like,
He's the coolest in the universe! My grandpa would be just like him! So you know how All Might has a muscle form and then the regular form? Do you think Deku will develop a muscle form? Do you think Deku would develop a muscle form?
You think Deku would? I don't believe so. I feel like that's what All Might just looked like when he got the quirk. He was a big, muscly, beefy dude. So now that we see him so weak, that's a testament to how hurt and damaged he's become. So people ask me, do you think Deku will inflate and become a big hero? And I just don't think that seems a little strange to me.
I was wondering if you could say your favorite line in Deku's voice.
From Hero? Okay. Let me think of Deku is the name of a hero!
Halloween season? Do you have a favorite Halloween season?
A Halloween season movie? I love Hocus Pocus.
Yes!
Can't go wrong with that one. What else? I don't really do well with like spooky, scary movies or horror films, so I try to stay away from those. I did just watch The Haunting of Hill House though, and that really scared me.
Hi, so I have a question. I don't know if it's already been asked.
Okay.
Do you think if Todoroki put an ice cube in his mouth and he activated both of his quirks, it would stay frozen? Or do you think it would melt?
No, hold on. Let me get the details. He's using the fire alone, or both of his fire and ice? Okay, well, because they mentioned that one using one or the other changes the body temperature slightly. So let's just say if he's going hog wild in both of them, then he's achieved equilibrium. And the icicle, well, no, because it's warm in your mouth. It's gonna melt in your mouth. Sorry, I was trying to really think about it, but.
If Deku were to get a pet, what pet do you think he would get?
I think he'd get a cute little puppy. Someone to give him unconditional love.
How do you feel about the development of the villain development of Tamura Shigaraki?
I don't like that guy. I think it's interesting. I was talking to someone earlier about how my favorite character in One Piece is Blackbeard. I really love him because his intentions are so similar to the main character, yet his execution is so antithetical. And I think Shigaraki sort of hits a similar point. He wants to become the best at what he's doing. He wants to follow in his mentor's footsteps and make them proud in a sick way. But their execution is so radically different. Shigaraki wants a very different vision of the world than Deku does. So I think it's interesting. I'm excited for more counterplay between them because they've sort of they've been at odds, but they've never squared off, other than, what, we see them at the mall, I guess, and that's it. So, yeah, I think he's very interesting.
Okay, so I'm actually kind of new to My Hero Academia.
Awesome.
Got me into it not too long ago. But back to the puppy thing, what breed do you think he would have? Like, what breed specifically for him?
I don't know that much about dogs. Like a little corgi or Shiba, Tom, maybe if you want a bigger dog, a golden retriever would be super cute.
All right, we've got the last question.
Make it
I
good.
know. Whoa, pressure. Ooh, just to sit it on you. That's all right. It's cool. It's chill. It's gonna be awesome.
Other than a puppy, what do you think Deku's spirit animal would be?
Little bear cub.
Justin, thank you for spending this time with us, man. If I could have everybody just chill for a minute, and Justin can egress, that means leave the room, and as he goes by, you can wave and throw cash at him, and applause and things, and then once he exited, feel free to go, and of course, if not, you can stay right where you are, because Shelby Rivara is coming up in just 10 minutes right here. Once again, Justin, thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
This is the Justin Briner parade. It's not even on your schedule. It's just like Justin.
Painting and priming. This is definitely the area that I personally dislike the most about cosplay. Like, some people love painting. Some of my best friends, they live for painting.
What is your most unbelievable holiday memory rather than your favorite one? Or memory?
Most unbelievable holiday memory? Well, I'm reminded of it by your story. I once went to Thanksgiving at my sister's